On the floodplains of northern Australia stand fields of grey towers, flattened, blade-shaped, up to 4 meters tall, about 13 feet, scattered across the grass by the hundred. They look like a graveyard laid out by a surveyor, because every single one is turned the same way. Thin edges pointing north and south, broad faces east and west, in a grid so consistent that early travelers assumed human hands. The builders are insects 5 millimeters long. None of them has ever seen the whole building. Termites are among the oldest social animals on Earth, colonies of blind workers and armored soldiers serving a single egg-laying queen, and, despite the resemblance of their societies to the ants, they are not ants at all. Their nearest relatives are the cockroaches, which makes their towers all the more improbable. The species behind the aligned fields is Amitermes meridionalis, the magnetic termite, one of only 2 termites known to build this way, and the name is earned literally. Experiments indicate the insects read the Earth's magnetic field and lay their building along it. The reason is the sun. A termite mound is a solid mass of soil, chewed and glued, grain by grain, with saliva and dung, and in the tropics a solid mass of soil is a heat trap. The magnetic termite's answer is geometry. Build the mound as a blade and align the blade north, south, and the day's heat budget transforms. The broad eastern face takes the gentle morning sun, the broad western face takes the gentle evening sun, and at noon, the killing hours, the sun finds only the thin top edge, a target a few centimeters wide. The mass of the building stands in its own shade at the hottest time of day. Inside, where the colony stores harvested dead grass in galleries and raises its young, the temperature holds near a constant 30 degrees Celsius, 86 Fahrenheit, while the plain outside swings through extremes. Hundreds of colonies, each solving the same equation with the same compass, produce the surveyed look of the field. Not coordination between mounds, but the same answer arrived at independently every time. What makes this worth an episode is not just the trick, but where the trick lives. No termite knows north. No termite has a plan, a blueprint, or a view of the structure longer than its own antennae. Each worker follows local rules, deposit here, extend there, respond to the pheromones and the air currents of the moment, and the building emerges from millions of such acts the way a sentence emerges from letters. Biologists call it stigmergy, construction coordinated through the construction itself. The mound is architecture without an architect, and it works at a precision human builders need instruments to match. In Africa, the termite family runs the experiment at a grander scale. The fungus-growing termites of the genus Macroderms raise towers of earth taller than any other animal structure, relative to body size, on the planet. And underground, beneath the tower, they keep gardens. Combs of chewed plant material on which they farm a fungus that digests what the termites cannot, the same agricultural bargain the leafcutter ants struck an ocean away. The tower above is not a residence. The colony lives below, but an organ. Studies of how air actually moves through these mounds have revised the old textbook story of a simple chimney. The structure behaves less like a flue and more like a lung, its porous walls and branching passages using the gusts and lulls of wind to exchange the nest's stale air for fresh, with no moving parts and no energy spent. The colony has, in the most literal sense, built itself a body part out of the landscape, a breathing, temperature-stable extension of its own physiology, made of dirt. Human engineers noticed. Buildings have been designed, most famously an office complex in Harare, Zimbabwe, that borrow the termites' passive ventilation logic to stay cool without conventional air conditioning. It is a rare direction of travel for a technology, from an insect's nest upward. At noon on the floodplain, the lesson is laid out in rows. Every blade stands edge-on to the worst of the sun. Every shadow falls identically. Every interior holds its temperature within a degree or two of yesterday. The architects are inside, eyeless, planless, 5 millimeters long, each one following small rules, together having built the only thing on the plane that never overheats.